What's up everyone, it's Anthony from AB Fitness Center, and today we're going to be discussing 3 food swaps to get you shredded and to avoid feeling hungry. That's key. When you're dieting and you're trying to get as lean as possible, you want to try to not feel as hungry. So we're going to be discussing today the 3 food swaps that you need to make in order to do that. So I've outlined 3 basic things. They'll pop up right here and you'll be able to see what food swaps you should make. But remember, the main thing is the key to getting lean and staying lean is all about eating more filling foods. The more filling the food is, the more less likely you are to try to go out and get something else. Remember, because the hungrier you get, the more than likely you start to, that willpower, this tank of willpower that I've talked about before, ends up dropping down to E. Remember, you can only have so much willpower, okay? But you know, when you get hungry, when you start getting leaner and leaner, you start getting hungrier and hungrier, and that willpower drops and you're just like, I'm done. I feel like cheating today. It happens to all of us because you're dieting, you're getting into different weights that you're not used to. You know, your hunger hormones are kind of like punching you in the face saying, hey, eat something, because your body doesn't want to go below a certain level. So when that happens, you got to make sure that you make these swaps, because these swaps are going to really help you to stay fuller longer. And while some of this may be kind of common sense to you, when you combine some of these things together, it really will make a world of a difference. So remember, these foods that I'm going to show you, these food swaps, are literally the same calories, but they'll take up, the good choices obviously, will take up more room in your stomach, keeping you fuller longer. So let's get rolling. Number 1, okay? The first food swap, full fat Greek yogurt versus fat-free Greek yogurt versus full-fat Greek yogurt. So it should pop up right over here. So again, the main thing with these is that you could see the fat-free version of them is a lot more voluminous. It takes up a lot more room in the bowl. And again, that's the kind of a swap that you want to make. And look at the other one. The other one, which is full-fat, is very dense and compact. And that's going to take a lot less room in your stomach. So if you're dieting, you want to try to have more of the fat-free ones because it's going to give you more volume, okay? And that's what we're really looking for. You can make this even more voluminous if you put this in a blender with some ice and maybe even some berries, and you just keep whipping it up. It's going to get like a really thick shake. It'll fill an entire like blender, and you'll be there for a while eating that. But again, that will keep you fuller longer, which will also, one of the things that I want to talk about with this too, it'll also increase the time that you're actually eating. So think about it. That 200 calories of the full fat Greek yogurt is probably going to take you less than 1 minute to eat, give or take, right? Whereas if you fill up and you have a more voluminous bowl of non-fat Greek yogurt, or you make it into like a shake, like a smoothie, like I said, that's almost like ice cream that you have to eat it with a spoon, that can take you 15 or 20 minutes to eat. Remember, it takes about 20 minutes for the hunger hormone from your stomach to tell your brain like, hey, I've gotten food now, I could slow down. So the slower you kind of consume the food, the better you're going to be too. So that's the first one. That's the first food swap that you should make, okay? Food swap number 2, egg whites versus steak, okay? I love steak, and I should say there's nothing wrong with the other foods. It's just that those foods are very calorie dense and will take up less room in your stomach. So you need to keep that in mind too. If you want the other foods, you can certainly have them. But these foods that I'm pointing out today are going to help you to also be fuller longer, which is the goal when you're dieting. So both of these are both 135 calories in steak or egg whites. But in the steak, it's about 3 ounces. That's about that egg whites. That's a lot of egg whites for 135 calories. And again, it boils back to what I said. It's going to take you probably 2 minutes to eat that steak, unless you like it well done, and then you're just chewing for days. That's a little different. That's gross too if you like your steak well done. But anyway, egg whites are going to take you a lot longer to actually do that. So you want to eat that same amount. So again, I love egg whites, especially when dieting. One hack and one quick tip that you could do today, get those liquid egg white containers. You can get either the small one or the big one, so depending on how much protein you need a day. If you need a quick 50 to 100 grams of protein, just take that if you take the little one, it's an easy 50 grams of protein. Just literally pour that whole thing in a pan and make that. That entire bowl is 50 grams of protein, but will be super filling because that's a lot of food. So when you're dieting, egg whites are your friend because again, they take up a lot of room in your stomach. And the other cool thing I love about egg whites too, they're very versatile, meaning that you can have them however you want. If you want to make them spicy, you can make them spicy. If you want to make them sweet, you can make them sweet. So they take on a good characteristics of whatever you make them. So keep that one in mind too. And what I would also do with the egg whites too, to make them more voluminous and really take up a lot more space, you could mix in some vegetables in there. You could get 50 to 100 calories worth of vegetables and really load that whole thing up. If you took peppers, onions, mushrooms, and maybe even some spinach, that would be a lot of volume. And again, going back to what I said earlier, it'll take you a lot longer to eat, which will signal from your stomach to your brain, hey, I got more food, I'm not hungry anymore. And again, that's another thing. Food swap number 3. Okay, we all love desserts, right? And I know some of the women are gonna say, I need my chocolate bar, but here's the problem with your chocolate bar. Boom. 200 and something calories for that little stick of chocolate versus all that popcorn for the same amount. Now again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the candy bar. If you want the candy bar and you have the ability to fit that into your totals for the day, you should absolutely do that, especially if you feel like you need it, right? But when your goal is to stay as lean as possible and avoid feeling hungry, you want to go with more voluminous stuff. So again, that popcorn right there, loaded with fiber, loaded with a lot of stuff, is going to keep you fuller longer. So plus, besides the fact that that chocolate bar is probably is obviously very calorie dense and contains a lot more fat than the popcorn, but sorry, my allergies. But remember, what you could do with the popcorn too is you could get a little bit creative. You could take basically 1 scoop of protein powder, okay, mix it in a big bowl, mix it like a pudding, dump you could put some cocoa powder in there too, dry, and then add a little bit of water, make it really thick, dump the popcorn in and just keep mixing it. Let it, you could put it in the freezer, let it kind of dry up, and then you could have chocolate popcorn. Amazing, I've done this before. Such a good, easy way to get more protein in and stay fuller longer. So remember, if you are interested in working with a personal trainer, either in person or remote, just click on in the description below. You can click on that link there and I'll be happy to help you. But one of the things I want you to remember, when your goal is to stay shredded, you want to stay as full as possible, okay? And the only way to do that is to make swaps like I showed you, okay? So remember, don't just watch my videos and take no action. Consistency is going to be the key. Go out, take some action, try what I told you today, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.